I bet most of you have went to the movies if you've got kids to see Mario, but if you hadn't, then no, we got Tanya. It's Friday in movies. Everybody, have you been yet?
Still have not seen it, but it's dominating.
My kids have seen it. My mom took the kids last weekend, and even the 3-year-old adored it. She was rooting for the princess. I'm not really sure what that means in terms of the movie, and I mean, because she has never, and that's what's interesting is she has never played it. And there's not like TV series or shows sort of around it. But even from the premiere to she wanted, there was something about it. She knew she wanted to see it.
Yeah. So. Well, I went to a movie earlier today, and when I was leaving, I stopped by the restroom, and the theater next to it was playing it, and it was over. So that theme song is what I heard.
Well, people are still going out for it, but there's got to be other things for them to go out for. So what's new?
Well, the new releases this weekend are definitely not for the kids. So check out Mario if you're wanting to get them into the theater. But the first one is the newest in the horror genre. It's Evil Dead Rise, and this is actually the 5th Evil Dead film. It's hard to believe there's been that many. They all do well. So in this one, Beth pays a visit to her older sister Ellie, who's single with 2 kids in a cramped Los Angeles apartment. And unfortunately, the sisters' reunion is cut short because, of course, they discover a mysterious book that's deep in the bottom of their apartment or the building.
Alone.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what this one's about. Now, I don't know if you've seen the poster for this one.
I don't think I have.
It is terrifying. It's like the mom she looks like a zombie, and she's like clutching her 2 children, and it says something like "I love you to death" or something, and it's 2 little boys, and I'm like, I can't do that.
So that's not the one you went and saw today.
I will not. Yeah, I have not seen it, nor will I. And then the one that one of our listeners asked about last week, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, comes out today. Yeah, and I will be seeing this one for sure. It's Jake Gyllenhaal, and of course written by Guy Ritchie, who's maybe more famous for having been married to Madonna a long time ago. But it follows Jake's character and his interpreter, who was promised freedom or to get out of danger after saving Jake's life, and that doesn't happen. And so Jake's character goes back into the war zone to try to get this guy out. So that's what it's about. It looks like it is rated R because of the violence, but it does look like one of those movies that you're going to be on the edge of your seat.
And I heard Jake say in an interview that it's a kind of movie that makes you proud to be an American.
Yeah, and I love that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the war movies aren't always my favorite just because, it's hard to watch knowing that this stuff really happened, But, you can't beat a good story like that.
I agree. And sometimes it's just what you need to re-believe in humanity.
Yes, and just be reminded of how lucky you are, to be an American. And then the one that I did go see is called Chevalier or Chevalier. It's pronounced, I think, based on how French you are.
What's the redneck way of saying it? Because that will be what comes out my mouth.
I know.
Chevalier.
Yeah, that's it. But this one, so I've been seeing previews for it, but didn't know a whole lot about it. But it is based on a true story, and it takes place before the French Revolution. Marie Antoinette's queen, and there's this young boy named Joseph who is the son of a slave and a wealthy Frenchman. And so the dad realizes that he's a prodigy, he's a musician, plays the violin, and decides to put him in a school for that so that he can develop that talent. And of course, he's looked mistreated because of his skin color, and taken from his mother to go to this school. So he suffers a lot of trauma as a child, but grows into this incredible musician, and becomes friends with Marie Antoinette. She makes him a chevalier. And anyway, so that happens. His goal is to be the director of the Paris Symphony. I forgot now what it's called, something like that. And in order to get that, because of his skin color, she says the only way you're going to get it is to earn it. And so he has kind of a showdown with another guy and musician who. And so the story just kind of is surrounded by him trying to write this new opera, and the singer he finds to be the front person for this, and maybe an illicit relationship, and a little bit of everything in this movie. But so I don't want to spoil anything, but at the end they do some credits to just kind of tell you what happened after the story in the movie ends. And, this guy really, because of the times, a lot of his works and things were burned. And so there wasn't a whole lot of record of this guy even existing. And so people are now putting it all together and telling a story. But the actor that plays him, his name is Kelvin Harrison Jr., and I last saw him he played B.B. King in the Elvis movie. Okay. So, I mean, this guy looks like a totally different person. So, people are saying he's the next Denzel Washington, but his performance was fantastic. Samara Weaving plays his love interest, and then Lucy Boynton plays Marie Antoinette, and I thought she did a great job. She was I last saw her in the Freddie Mercury story, and she played his girlfriend in that, and then later, I mean, she is still dating, I think, Rami Malek that played Freddie Mercury. So, but yeah, so this one is PG-13. I would say mostly probably because of some of the subject matter, and then just there is some violence.
PG-13 is not PG-13 anymore.
No, they can get away with a lot more.
They can, and even old PG-13 movies, I'm like, what my mama let me watch?
But I could tell, yeah,
Titanic
I know.
was PG-13.
Well, the things that went over our heads when we were kids, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But this one, your kids certainly are not going to be interested in it. But I will tell you, if you are a fan of that period of time, go see it for the costumes. I mean, it is incredible. And their hair is just works of art. I mean, it's really worth going just for that.
I can't imagine what it took to get ready back then.
Oh, I know. That's what I kept thinking. And I'm like, no wonder.
They wore wigs.
They fainted all the time.
Fainted and wore wigs because they did it once and then they wouldn't have to do it again.
Yeah.
And just take it off and put it back on.
Yeah.
Speaking, though, of movies, Titanic. So my daughter's a huge Titanic fan. She's done the books and all the things. So I finally sat down to watch it with her, let her watch it because the anniversary was, April the 15th. And I have to... I get tickled telling it, and I shouldn't because it was a traumatizing experience for her. And, of course, I fast-forwarded through the scenes you should fast-forward through.
Yeah.
But it comes to when the ship starts to sink, and she goes into a full-blown panic attack, like full-blown tear, all the things. And I just remember saying, babe, you knew it was going to sink, right? And she's like, I know, but it's so sad. And so I was like, you know what? This may have been a little too early for her, but she ended up finishing it and loved it. But I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the emotional. I thought we were going to have a talk when Jack died.
Yeah.
I knew, but by that time she was emotionally spent, so Jack dying really didn't affect her much.
Yeah. What was her opinion of him not getting on the door?
She really didn't think about that so much. As she was just really into the way they portrayed the ship, sort of the ship sinking and all of that. Yeah. And in the beginning, it plays out like a documentary, but it's been a minute. And she was like, Mom, I don't like documentaries. I thought this is a movie. And I was like, hang on, the movie's coming. But that was fun to share that with her, because that's something that we enjoyed. Yeah. Minus the fact I feel like she'll be telling her therapist about the trauma from the Titanic sinking at some point. But yeah, that it got me tickled / felt sorry for her all at the same time. I was like, you knew it sank, right? Like, you did the report. You read the book. We went to the museum. But they do make it very realistic in the movie.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it was worth all the technology because James Cameron's still using it to this day.
I know. Pretty good stuff. All right. Stuff to go watch if you're brave enough, or not with the children for sure. All right. Well, we'll see you back next week, Tanya, but you guys stick with us. We got more for you up next.